I'm just making some rope here in my garage. This is a combination of milkweed fibers and wood nettle fibers. And I just want to show you some tips and tricks with it while I'm going along here. So you're twisting and then you're switching which hand they were in. So you're basically passing them back and forth. And you just keep doing it. Now, when you get to a thin spot, see these thin out down here, you want to splice in well before you get to that thin spot. So anyways, when you go to splice something in, all you do is take this and put it right on where you want to go, and you just start turning it like it's not even there. Here, we'll do one at a time just so you can see what I'm doing. So anyways, you've got both of your strands. If you can see that, you got both of those. You just lay one right on top of it like it's not even there, and then you just start twisting again. Switching it. Twisting and switching both these ropes back and forth. I'm going to get some scissors here. I'm going to cut this excess off that we can see what I'm doing. Kind of gets in the way. Okay, there we go. Now we can see better. Okay, so we're twisting like this. Some of these are stragglers hanging off. Not really doing anything. It's okay. Twisting like that, and then passing them to the other hand. Okay, so you got them all lined up pretty good. Put them on top. It's always good sometimes to get it started with a couple twists here. Make sure they're all laying nice and even. Okay, let's raise it up. There we go. Now that they're on there, you can do this before or after. I'm just doing it right now, that way you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. Same as before. The thicker the diameter of the rope is, or the cordage is that you're making, the faster you'll gain length. Milkweed, in my experience, tends to rot a little bit easier. It is more susceptible to frost than wood nettle. Wood nettle is by far my favorite cordage fiber that there is. Right now I'm using milkweed. You get them real nice and even at the top, and then what you do to store your cordage, you get a big old bundle of this, and then you do the same thing. You 2-ply reverse wrap it, which is actually, this is how you start your rope. Get a bundle of these milkweed fibers and you twist away and bring towards, just like you're starting any other cordage. This is how I make my bundles, and this is how I start the rope. So it's the same process, but this keeps all of your cordage fibers from tangling together, and it keeps them nice and uniform, so when you go to use them again, they're all lined up, they're all ready to go, ready to splice in. So other methods for making rope exist out there, but this is the one that I found that is the most simple, and it creates rope that holds a decent amount of weight in a short amount of time. But the other advantage I was going to say that you have to this method is you have the ability to go back and to access these fibers. So you can take this and create smaller diameter cordage, which then you can use to affect other means of survival or for long-term living, as far as like making a net goes, making clothing, making small bags and weavings and mats and things of that kind. You can do all sorts of things with this method versus other methods where you make the small diameter cordage first, and then you double, and then you double, and then you double it over on itself again and again and again to then build it up to make it a very strong rope. If you wanted to access all of those fibers, what you would have to do is totally undo the entire rope. Whereas this method, you don't have to undo the entire rope, you just have to undo the end. And you can take out your splices, and you've got ready-made ribbons ready to go that you can then turn into bowstrings, into small diameter cordage for sewing, for all sorts of things. And to add to that, you can always add to this, and you don't need to do any complicated splicing knot. But anyways, guys, this is just me giving you a quick how-to on making rope and also my thoughts on the process. This is my old wood nettle net that I made. This was the first net that I've ever made totally out of primitive cordage. So let's see if we can open this thing up here. I got a couple jam knots here. Just undo those. Man, this is kind of icy. I had this sitting in the bus back there. So this is coated with a mixture of, it's a 50-50 mixture of pine resin and deer tallow. And it creates this tacky waterproofing agent, and it will help protect your net, and it'll basically make it last forever. I think I did this net 2 years ago. There you go. Hang this up here. Just the finished rope. Down on this end, what you can do is you can tie a knot in it and trim it, or you can leave the rest of this if you think you're going to have some more to splice in later to it. You can just go ahead and do that. But if you're going to be using this rope, you're going to want to go ahead and trim that and just keep your knot in place. And then what you're going to want to do is go through and trim all of these splices, these splice end points. Just clean that up real nice. That way you've got finished rope that looks like this. It's real nice and pretty. Okay, so this is the first net that I ever made. These are wood nettle. This is wood nettle fibers, and I made it into a square. That way I could use it for like live capture, spring snare traps, and that sort of thing. It's made. This is well, let's see here. What do we got? It's 5 foot by about. It's a 5 foot by 5 foot. And so that 5 foot by 5 foot was about it was exactly 404 feet of cordage. I remember I had it all listed out.